Welcome to WYCE's Community Closeup, our weekly public affairs program produced in partnership with the Rapidian, our hyperlocal news service here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. Community Closeup brings you a diverse perspective from community leaders and organizations throughout West Michigan. This is WYCE Station Manager Phil Tower once again with you in studio. It is a pleasure to welcome back to our program. He was long overdue for a visit. He is Ben Swayze, the Director of Kent County Parks. You can learn more at kentcountymi.gov and just type in parks, or Mr. Googler works as well. If you just type in Kent County Parks and Michigan, because there are some other Kent counties in the country, that'll get you there as well. We are deep in the middle of winter here in West Michigan. We're finally having a winter in West Michigan. As we have this conversation, it's definitely looking and feeling like winter outside. First of all, Ben, it's good to have you back on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Phil. Thanks for the invite to come in studio. Always love to talk about what's going on in our great parks.
Well, I love to talk about them too, because we are so fortunate to have a lot of great parks. We're not going to be able to touch on all of them, but the most important theme we're going to start out with in this episode of Community Closeup is that wintertime does not mean the parks are closed, at least in the sense that you can't access them. There are a lot of opportunities at Kent County Parks. Maybe some gates are closed, but available for winter recreation, which more and more people are doing. It's a little hard to do when it's like 8 or 10 degrees out, but you can still do it. Millennium Park was mentioned in your December Kent County Parks newsletter, which if you're not getting that, you can sign up through the Parks Department at kentcountymi.gov. You talked about hibernation mode, which means, a lot of the parts of the parks are closed, but still there's a lot that's accessible out there, right?
There is, yep. So unfortunately, we have not been able to find a way to avoid the winter. So at Kent County Parks, we're trying to embrace it.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, we do use that term, hibernation mode. There are some things that we just can't have open to the public. A lot of our restrooms aren't heated, so we can't have the water on. The pipes will burst. But we've really taken concerted effort over the past couple of years to get more and more of our parks open. So Millennium Park is a big one. We did create the first Kent County Parks heated restroom there in late 2024. So there's amenities for people that want to go there and visit. And then we try to maintain the trails, both for hiking as well as cross-country skiing. So we have loops around Lake Leona in the rec course section of the park by the beach that are plowed and available for people to go hiking. And then we do have a couple miles of cross-country skiing trails. There's a long line of trails that stretch from that rec core area all the way to our north trailhead, and we get those groomed for the cross-country skiers, and they're real popular this time of year.
Yeah, you mentioned in your newsletter, Kaufman Golf Course has cross-country skiing trails. And in Palmer Park, help me remember where Kaufman Golf Course is.
Yeah, so Kaufman Golf Course and Palmer Park are both in the city of Wyoming. In fact, the same parcel. So
great.
The golf course is kind of a horseshoe around Palmer Park. But yeah, so the golf course is open for cross-country skiing. We actually rent cross-country skis there as well. So
excellent.
If you're a first-timer or only like to go periodically and don't have your own equipment, you can come down and rent skis real cheap. But yeah, we groom the trails there as well. In fact, they should be out right now grooming those trails. A couple different 2-mile loops there. And then the clubhouse is open with the heated restrooms as well.
If people want to rent skis for the cross-country skiing trails, is there a way to do that online? What do you recommend to them, Ben?
You'll have to just go down there and rent them. So.
Okay, simple enough.
Yep.
Okay. We are also looking at the opportunity to take advantage of the heated enclosed shelter at Douglas Walker Park. That is an opportunity as well. If you're looking to do something kind of cool and different and get a gathering together in the wintertime, you can do that at Douglas Walker Park. And I know because I saw a lot of these projects in the summertime and the fall, there are constant improvements to Kent County Parks, Ben Swayze. Namely, near me, you were doing work on the Rogue River trail park, or what is the work there that's happening there?
Yeah, so that is part of our Grand River Greenway project that we've been working on here the past couple of years. So basically an effort between a whole host of partners in Kent County and Ottawa County Parks to build an 85-mile continuous paved trail that'll stretch all the way from Grand Haven to Lowell. So call it Lowell to the Lake. And there's
really cool.
Yeah, there's a section that Kent County Parks is really leading, and that section starts where the White Pine Trail intersects Rogue River Drive in Plainfield Township. And if you drove by there this summer, they have started that section. That section's being done in partnership with Plainfield Township. They're actually leading it. One of the few sections of the project where we just get to be a financial partner. But excited about that. It's eventually going to go through a tunnel under Northland Drive, and by the end of 2026, you'll be able to get all the way to the village of Ada. So about 9 miles of trails and 3 bridges that are being built in that section.
That's really outstanding. And I live just west of Northland Drive and the parks there on the other side by the Grand River. So I'm pretty excited about that tunnel happening because that's not a safe place to have to cross the Beltline. That is going to be remarkable. And did I read that's going to be hopefully opened at the end of 2026?
Yeah, it has to be open by the end of 2026. So we were fortunate enough to land some grant funding through DGRI with that, and we have to spend it by the end of 2026.
All right, so it better be done. There'll be a lot of guys out there digging with shovels at night. Ben Swayze is with us. Ben is director of Kent County Parks. Again, kentcountymI.gov, and just click on the Parks Department. There's a lot in there to unpack. One of the other things happening is Chief Hazy Cloud Park. I love that. That is, it's on Pettis Road, I think, just right by the Grand River. As you're coming into Ada, it's a really cool park that's just kind of tucked right by the side of the river, isn't it?
Yeah, right by the side of the river. But if you didn't know it, you wouldn't realize how big it is. So it's over 400 acres.
It is a big park.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the trail is going down there as well, too.
So the Grand River Greenway will go through there. We're fortunate that Ada Township did already build that section of paved trails through there. But we are currently working on another 3 to 4 miles of natural surface equestrian trails there. And eventually part of the Grand River Greenway project is a park-to-park suspension bridge that will connect Chief Hazy Cloud to Roselle Park, which is an Ada Township park on the other side of the river.
So you're going to build a bridge over the Grand River?
Going to build a bridge over the Grand River.
That is going to be sweet. What is the projected date or dates for that?
Yeah, so we're still in fundraising mode for that part of the project right now, but my personal goal is to have that done before the end of the decade. So we'll be cutting the ribbon before January 1st, 2030.
Okay, I'm sure we can get it done. That's pretty exciting. One of the really interesting things that I learned about reading the Kent County Parks newsletter for December is there is a place in Caledonia called Lepard Preserve. No, it's not the spotted leper of Michigan. There's no leopards there, but it's L-E-P. Did I say it right? Is it Lepard or Lepard Preserve?
So I've been told it is Lepard Preserve.
Lepard Preserve, and it's Lepard, a 52-acre park and old-growth forest area in Caledonia on 76th Street Southeast, recognized as an old-growth forest, an honor that highlights mature trees, diverse plant life, and thriving ecosystem. What a cool spot. And you are doing, the Kent County Parks Department is doing a old growth forest dedication and guided walk on May 8th. Tell us about that, if you would, Ben.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to be selected by the Old Growth Forest Network. Their goal is to have one public property in every county in America designated as an old growth forest. We were fortunate enough that they did pick Lepard Park. People that have been down there will maybe argue that it's not an old growth forest right now, and they would be right. So that piece of property was probably cleared in the early 20th century. But part of what the Old Growth Forest Network is doing is try to ensure that a century from now, there are old growth forests for our community to embrace. So we will dedicate it here coming up in May, and hopefully a century from now, they'll have another ceremony to talk about how it actually is an old growth forest.
And you and I will not be here to host that radio program, but I'm sure someone will be talking about it. One of the other things to just be aware of for our listeners who enjoy Kent County Parks, want to access the parks, whether it's now in the wintertime or throughout 2026, you've got some great resources on your website, including printable park maps and also trails. I think a lot of people may be aware of the trails, but may not be aware of the diversity of the trails. Can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, so we have close to 140 miles of trails in our network. Some of those are paved regional trails, like Kent Trails and the Pioneer Trail and the Paul Henry Trail. A lot of those are natural surface trails, so you get into our parks and kind of hike in there as well. But
Sure.
We're always trying to build new trails. It's one of the primary features of our parks. And like you said, check out the maps on the website so you don't get lost.
Ben Swayze is with us, Director of Kent County Parks. You can learn more at kentcountymi.gov. And you can, I know Christina and your team would want me to plug this, you can and should sign up for the Kent County Parks Department quarterly newsletter, because that's where I learned all of this. This is not just packed into my head. I actually learned a lot from reading the newsletter, and I really appreciate what you guys do, because there's a lot going on. It is a big area. I think folks forget Kent County is one of those counties that's kind of tall, narrow, and stretches. If you think about down by Caledonia all the way to 22-mile road up north. It's quite a bit north.
Yeah, yep.
Trails, and of course, lots of opportunities to get out and enjoy. Spring park cleanups are also coming up because we do want to thank spring. Ben, I know people are happy with all the snow we have and being able to recreate outside in wintertime, but spring cleanup for parks is an important activity. You need volunteers. Talk about that, if you will. What happens at a spring park cleanup?
Yeah, so our volunteer services program is probably the most important thing for our maintenance of our parks. So we host thousands, if not tens and thousands of hours of volunteers each year. Last year, they cleared over 50 acres of invasive species in our parks, did a lot of habitat restoration. We would not be able to have the high quality system that we have, over 8,000 acres without our volunteers. So they do, usually in the spring through the fall, they do 2 events a week, typically one on Wednesdays and one on Saturdays. There's an opportunity for organizations and businesses to have their own private volunteer events as well, but incredibly important for our community, and we appreciate everybody that signs up for those events.
I don't know if I should thank you. I'll just thank you on the radio and thank Plainfield Township. Not far from where I live, they put in a kind of a little oasis called Rogue River Park, or Grand Rogue Park, I think it's called.
Grand Rogue Park, yep.
There's actually, and I'm saying this as a person who lives with a disability, there's actually an accessible platform down there right on the Rogue River, and it's peaceful and it's quiet and it's beautiful. However that came together, it's really cool, and it's just kind of tucked away next to where the boat launch is there by the Grand River. I just love things like that, Ben.
Yeah, all the credit goes to Plainfield Township for that project. An amazing park. We do a lot of work with them. Kudos to them for the investments that they've made.
Yeah, it's really something that I think a lot of folks don't realize is that being able to get that close to the river, whether you are a person with a mobility challenge or not, it's kind of cool because you literally can be right at the edge of the Rogue without getting wet, and just you don't need a phone, no iPhone needed, no smartphone needed. Just sit there and listen to the sound of the river. It's really pretty cool. We covered a lot of ground. Is there anything I didn't mention you wanted to share with our listeners? I know volunteer opportunities are there at your Kent County Parks Department website. Anything else our listeners should know, Ben?
Just 2 projects I want to plug real quick. We will have Kent County Parks' first enclosed dog park at Wahlfield Park in Alpine Township.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Seriously, this is awesome.
Yep, 10-acre enclosed park, all fenced in. We'll have an acre pond with a jumping dock, heated restrooms, with a dog wash station. When we do our planning, we hear three things that our residents want. They want splash pads, they want pickleball courts, and they want dog parks. So we'll be cutting the ribbon on that dog park coming up here in June probably. And then we are putting together 8 miles of adaptive mountain bike trails at Johnson Park. Amazing partnership with the West Michigan Mountain Bike Alliance. Again, we'll be cutting the ribbon on those this summer. That'll be a destination place for mountain bikers to come out and ride our park.
Well, first of all, that's fantastic to have 8 miles of mountain bike trails at Johnson Park. But I'm more impressed with the fact that you've got 10 acres of fenced-in dog park. That is really outstanding. Let our listeners know real quickly where Wahlfield Park is in Walker.
Yep, so it is on the corner of Alpine and 8 Mile Road.
Wow, that's going to be fantastic. And a jumping dog dock for dogs, not for humans. It's only for dogs, but a lot going on there, and that's really cool. And pickleball fans, there are plenty of places to play pickleball, but I love that. I just love going to dog parks. I have a dog that is a non-social dog, so I have to live vicariously through the well-behaved dogs at adult dog parks, and I love that. Ben Swayze, it's always fun catching up with you. Kudos to you and your team for all of the great work you guys are doing at Kent County Parks. Again, it's kentcountymi.gov, and just type in parks or click on the Parks Department link. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Phil. It's always great to talk about parks.
It is indeed. You've been listening to WYCE's Community Closeup, our weekly public affairs program produced with the Rapidian here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. I'm WYCE's Phil Tower. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.